Welcome everyone, this is the first one of my NBA player position tier lists that I'll be doing throughout this next week probably, since I want to get it out there. I want to talk about my thoughts on players, and I've realized I actually have way more thoughts than I would like to. And I also realized that I'm not sure if I'm, certain about a lot of players. And we'll talk about the point guard position first. You'll obviously go from the point to center. And let's start with the point guard position. So the last tier, as you can see, is placebo, or still solid. I still think these are good players, or solid players, I guess. Colin Sexton certainly belongs up there, but why I put Colin Sexton here and not in a tier or two above is because I genuinely don't think he'll be a long-term starter for the Jazz, with Keontae George, Isaiah Collier being there as their backups or rookies, right, or just younger players. I don't think Colin Sexton will be a starting point guard. Maybe even this season, he'll be a six-man eventually anywhere, somewhere. So for here, he's a placebo, but he's a good player nonetheless. Tyus Jones, of course, he is a really solid player, a really good player. The problem with him is the size, and of course that he'll be playing with Bradley Beal as his small forward or shooting guard. Very likely. I do think Tyus Jones will be starting for the Suns, and I think that's a good choice, but Bradley Beal might be just too much of a disadvantage for the Suns as a whole. Could have put him a little higher, but I just don't think he's better than the players above him. That's why I put him here, even though he's still a solid, good player nonetheless. And Dennis Schroeder, probably better than Tyus Jones, actually, if I'm being honest, right? He is a really solid player, probably even a good player. Once again, I just can't put him ahead of the other guys, even though maybe I should put him up there, but then there would be just good players and there would be no bad players or placebo players. And of course, we don't think Dennis Schroeder will be player on the Brooklyn Nets maybe past the trade deadline anyway, and he might find himself in a six-man role or in a bench role eventually this season, in my opinion. And that's why I put him and Colin Sexton here, even though I think they're better than a solid in a way. But I don't know, I just wanted to have something different, I guess. As you can see, I'm still not 100% certain, but this is how we rolling. Next tier is the can't trust you tier. For entirely different reasons, in a way. D'Angelo Russell, it's his attitude, his demeanor, and his postseason struggles. For Josh Giddey, it's the defense, and also the demeanor overall. And he is on the Bulls, which is a cursed franchise in a way after Jordan left, so can't trust them both. Josh Giddey certainly has some type of potential, and maybe he'll find it under, Billy Donovan and in Chicago, but I just can't trust these both guys yet, and I think you could also certainly put Josh Giddey that he's just a solid player down there, but I think this can't trust you tier makes way more sense for me, and that's just how I felt when I was making it. I might feel different in 10 minutes once again, because that's just how it easily is, and that's how, I would say, that's how actually good the league overall is, or solid the league really is, right? Because there are just too many good players at the end of the day. Then we go to the good player tier list. Good player TM, we have Jalen Suggs as last. That's how this is with a type of projection for this season, and I think Jalen Suggs will have a really great year. We'll see if stats-wise, it will be better than the guys below him, but I think his impact will be better than all the guys below him overall. And I'm really high on the Magic. You'll see how I feel about the Magic when I do my Eastern Conference prediction. But I'm really high on the Magic, that's all I'll say for now. Terry Rozier, a good player for the Heat if he's the starter, which he should be, unless they want to try point Tyler Hero once again. But I project Terry Rozier to be the starter. And he's obviously a really good offensive player, solid defensively, just a good overall player, and I think he'll fit, of course, with the Heat really well this season after an offseason with them. Jordan Poole, I think he's a good player. You might certainly argue, to put him a little lower. I'm higher on Jordan Poole than most, obviously, because I just, Warriors, everything, and I still think that is a really great offensive player. The question is how great that is and how worth the juice. How worth it will be the squeeze of the juice. That was horribly worded, but Jordan Poole is a good player to me. Then Kobe White and Emmanuel Quickley, all just good players, and I really like Quickley, White, and Poole. I just don't think I could have put them higher yet, even though, of course, Kobe White, Jordan Poole, and Emmanuel Quickly all have really interesting potential. And we'll see how they do this season. They could certainly move up a bit after this season and throughout the season. I might do a monthly check-in with these tier lists, actually. Then we have OGs Part 1. You could certainly argue we have Chris Paul, Mike Conley, and Fred VanVleet. You could certainly argue Fred VanVleet could be a little higher. You could argue that maybe Chris Paul and Mike Conley should be below Poole, White, and Quickly. Certainly White and Quickly. Even maybe Terry Rozier. You could argue you would want Colin Sexton more, but I think in terms of role, in terms of the leadership, in terms of the pedigree, and what they bring to their specific team, I just put them higher as OGs. Fred VanVleet, of course, you could put him the tier higher. What about the defense, which I've spoiled now, but I don't think he's on that level anymore, and I don't think he'll be this season. And I think the youth movement in Houston will just be huge this season. Anyway, we have had to do what about the defense tier, which essentially is, you're really good, you're just not that great, you're not a great player, but you have the potential to be great, you're just not great yet, or there were some just, I would say, for DeJounte Murray, I would say there was regression defensively for him in Atlanta, so we'll see if the defense comes back for the Pelicans with the offense he found in Atlanta, then he might move up, right? But I don't think he's on the level of the guys above him. Anthony Simons, I think it's all about the defense for him. He'll probably be the starter. Maybe it will be Scoot, and Scoot would certainly be probably the lowest ranked player here if he was starting. And Simons, I'm really high on him because I think he's a really great, offensive player. He has a great smoothness about him. It's just a question, can he do it consistently enough? Defensively, can he stay healthy? And I mean, health is a question mark for the last guy too, Darius Garland. He had an all-star season, and then everything just went to shit with injuries. He's not been the same player. Can he find the defense? Maybe I put him too high. Maybe he deserves to be in the good player spot right now, right? Maybe you could argue, certainly you should. I would say Emmanuel Quickly and Kobe White had more impressive seasons last year. But I just think I'm giving Darius Garland one last chance this season. I've been high on him since he got drafted. So I'm just going to stay with him for this season. But, 2 months in, if he's still playing the same as he did last couple of years and has injury problems, I'm gonna have to move him down. Then it's OG's Part 2. Jrue Holiday, just a great player, great at what he does, great locker room guy, just, Jrue Holiday. While he's not as, locked down as he was in his younger years, he is still one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, one of the best defenders in the league, and he's just a dog, and I think he deserves to be above all the guys below him. For now, certainly. Then we have engines, but that's the big but, right? All these guys are the engines of their team. While Kawhi Leonard is obviously on the Clippers, and the Clippers have higher expectations than all the other teams, players that are engines here. All these guys are the primary ball handlers. They have a high usage rates, and they will be dictating how their team goes this season in some ways. For James Harden, it's the offensive consistency. Can he really be, back to Houston Harden at least in, 80%, 75% capacity? And for this Clippers team to really be great, because I think they have a lot of great role players. We'll see how healthy Kawhi is, how much he'll play. Of course, that plays a huge question, but I think the Clippers have an overall really good roster, and it depends on the engine, right? If James Harden is the engine, how well does it run still? Trae Young, still the engine. Defensively, he's taken some steps, but of course the size is an issue, and the Hawks kinda lack an identity in a way, but I mean, they have some... They have intriguing prospects, of course, now. They are not expected to be great, but I think Trae Young should establish himself as, once again, leading this young team to a play-in spot, maybe, and just showcasing the world, hey, I still got it, right? I'm still that, really one of the guys that could still be different. Should be the goal for him this season. Cade Cunningham, I'm really high on Cade this season. New coaching staff, maybe some spacing. He, of course, is a high usage rate guy. Defensively, I wonder if he can finally use his size and just physical ability better. And I'm just high on Kate. I think he might be, a really efficient, just great player this season. And the question is, can he move up here or not? And LaMelo, if he stays healthy, right? That's the biggest question with LaMelo. Health and defense, once again, offensively, we know what type of thing he does. He's the engine for the Hornets. They have a new coach. He seems great. They seem to be having more fun. The question is health and defense for this Hornets team. But I like the Hornets this season if LaMelo is healthy. And all these engines got something to prove this season, so that's going to be intriguing. And I do think they're all better than the guys below them. But they're not better than the guys above them. Maybe you could argue the first guy that is in the can you be different tier, which is Jamal Murray. You certainly could argue Jamal Murray should be somewhere in the, under engines. Above, what about the defense? I don't know. You could. I put Jamal Murray higher because I think he's going to have a huge bounce back after what was just depressing last, 2 or 3 months of his season, which of course counts the Olympics, not just the playoff series against the Timberwolves. And we'll see what Jamal Murray does this season. He might move down, but I didn't want to make a tier just for him below there, so I put him in Can You Be Different, and I'm putting faith that he'll be different this season because the Denver Nuggets just need it. Ja Morant, of course, back healthy. He probably deserves to be last year. I still think Ja Morant is just that guy, from what we've seen from him. You could certainly argue he shouldn't be here because of the health questions. He could be in the engines but tier, but I just, think Ja is a little different. The question is, can he be different, if you pick up what I'm saying. De'Aaron Fox is also here. Defensively, of course, that is the question mark. He gambles a lot. Can the 3-ball stay consistent? And for Sacramento, can they establish some type of defensive identity at least? We know they'll be a high-power offense. We know that's what they'll do, but can they be at least somewhat improved defensively is the biggest question for them. And De'Aaron Fox is a great guy, great player, great clutch player. Offensively, one of the best that is at his position. And like I said, there are a lot of great point guards, I would say. Pretty much, from Jrue Holiday, even though he's not, I would say, on the same level as the guys above him, they're all great players. But some are just great, and some are just great. Some are greatish. I don't know, that sounds weird, but I hope you pick up what I'm saying a little bit, even though it's for sure very confusing and I might sound like a rambling idiot. Tyrese Maxey is here. I think he'll be different this season. He'll of course have a different role with Paul George, but I do think he belongs in this Can You Be Different tier. The playoff series against the Knicks, he showed some just incredible potential, of course, and we'll see what happens with him. He has not proven it without Embiid playing, but I'm trusting Maxey to figure it out. If he shows me different, then he'll be below, of course, even though he's not the engine, that's why he doesn't fit there, but he'll move down if he doesn't show it to me in the first 2 months. Dame Lillard, he might eventually get down to the OGs, because, he's just not been that guy for the last year, and injuries have hampered him, the life situation, shit just happens in life, and Dame has not been the same. And Milwaukee just has bad vibes, but he's still one of the best point guards in the league, and I think he'll be back with a vengeance, and I do expect a bounce back season from him, and the Bucks, hopefully. I'm not certain about it. I'm like really split on it. I think they'll either have a great season, or they'll have a nightmare season. I'm leaning like 75% to the great season, but 25% is a high chance still, and that's how I feel about the Bucks anyway. Then for me it's Tyrese Haliburton. He's been great, and defensively, of course, he got some work to do, and we'll see, because he was coming out of college early, doubted as a defender. So we'll see how his efficiency, if he's healthy, continues to be this season. And if that Pacers offense can be as high-powered and as pacey as it was last year. And Jalen Brunson, he might deserve to be indifferent with the way he plays and the way he leads that Knicks team, but I just couldn't do it yet. But he certainly deserves to be, in my opinion, the 4th best point guard in the league as of right now. It's left to right, obviously. I'm not, I don't kind of care after top 5. about the rankings as much, but this is how I put it in on my what is it, first try, first, impressions. That's how I feel right now. We'll see how I feel in a month, like I said, because we'll do a check-in. And the different tier is Vardell, Stephen Curry the second, of course. He deserves to be up there still, in my opinion, even though you could argue Jalen Brunson above him. You could argue some of the guys above him, but I think Steph still brings the most to the table out of these guys with just his uniqueness and everything. We'll see if it is the case this year, right? We'll see how the Warriors do without Clay and with maybe even playing expectations are a little bit high for this Warriors team in a way with this loaded conference. But I still believe in Steph. I still think he's one of the just different guys in the league. And then it's Shea and Luka, both incredible, both MVP candidates, both probably will be in the MVP race this season. And I think Shea could really win it because, like I said, I'm really high on the Thunder. I really feel like they'll win the title this year. That's just how my personal gut check, gut feeling, and that's it. Yeah, so that is that. Let me know why I'm stupid. Let me know why I'm wrong. Let me know why I'm right. Just let me know what you think. We'll do a check-in in a month or so. Well, month is maybe a little too early. We'll see. We'll do a check-in about 2 or 3 weeks into the season probably. And we'll talk about this tier list and the tier list that I'll do in a month or so. Whatever that is. Anyway, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. And I'll catch you all next time. Wherever, whenever. Yeah.